Look good?
You always look good. You're my brother.
Oh, stop it.
I used to say Nissim is 2.0. So
What
you're
happened to what happened to
Victor's one
Victor?
Victor's 1.5. The model, Mommy and Tati didn't have a chance to really update the model that much in that span.
Uh-huh. So what's that? The Nickname's 2.0, so what am I?
Nissim's 2.0, so you're 3.0.
Third version.
Not bad.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Listen.
not
And
bad.
after that, you did is 4.0, and then they said no more models.
They stopped the production.
Right.
Um, okay, so let's talk about this podcast. This is Tim Dillon's podcast. The official name is Iran, Israel, and the Cool Ant, the Tim Dillon Show, number 389. So let's just jump
It's
right
interesting.
in.
On Spotify, do you notice this on Spotify? It doesn't list the number of the episode. Maybe on YouTube it
No?
does, but when I go to Spotify and I'm looking at for shows, it doesn't say the number. Maybe somewhere in the description, but like the front line, what you see titles, but you don't see numbers,
Right. Strange.
which is strange. Yeah, I don't know why they do that, but okay.
Do you like episodes that have like I've actually tried a few podcasts, like creating podcasts, and I'm never sure if should I put the episode number, should I not put the episode number. What
I
do
don't
you
see
think?
why not. I don't see why not. Like obviously, title is the key, like what the title of the episode is, but
I
but
think
the number is an easy way to inform someone else. Hey, listen to that podcast show number 22.
right, but I think for first timers, like it's a little bit like they think, oh, episode 4 means I have to watch episode 1 first. It's like, no, you don't have to watch episode 1. Like each of these episodes could be standalone.
That's true. No, that is true. I think you're
Oh,
upside down now.
now I'm upside down.
Okay,
I'm upside down.
no, I turned you around and I thought you would turn around with me, but obviously we did not practice that in advance.
I'm upside down right
So
now.
not anymore. You were when I turned the phone around, but now
Okay.
you're not. Okay.
So, what are your first impressions?
So
This is your first time listening to Tim Dillon.
I think I heard him. Is he the French fries guy? Like I think I heard him on Joe Rogan. There's some clip on him. Maybe there's a short of him. I think it's him.
Garlic fries?
He's like Americans don't care about anything except for pizza and French fries. Is that
Right,
him?
exactly. Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like him. Right. So okay, my impression just off the bat, there is a lot of shock value. And like you said, you prepared me in advance. You told me like he's very sarcastic. At some point, like what's sarcastic and what's not sarcastic is a question when everything sounds sarcastic. Now it could be that he it's all a game, it's all just a joke, and therefore it doesn't really mean anything, even though he's saying things talking about really serious topics, it could be shock value. And to me, shock value is like, eh, like I'm not so interested in shock. Like you want to be funny, And there are certain things that he did that were funny, like when he was going through the Cool Ant, and he's talking about, and he started singing Fleetwood Mac song "Dreams." Now I must say I like that song, and he did a
I
good rendition of it.
I did not know that song at all, and this episode got me listening to that song.
I happen to like Fleetwood Mac a lot. I like them.
Are you a
They're
cool
a,
ant?
got a leather jacket. But it's no, it's a fun, it's a good. I like that as a rock band. So that part I liked, like his impressions, his taking over, like embodiment of the ant. I thought was interesting. But the other stuff about Israel, I don't know. I think a lot of it was shock value.
Do you think there was skill in the way he like embodied the cool ant? Like he even got like the name down. Like he even referred to her as a name, and then
Yeah.
like really got into her head and like was describing her so abstractly, but like it made sense. I think that's a very impressive skill.
No, I think right, the embodiment, meaning he described with words what you would envision this cool ant to be. You
Right.
know, it's like if I had to think about like in my mind like who's a cool ant, like there's a rocker that I got into recently, Jolin Joplin. She's from the '70s. She was like the like number one hippie ever. And she died at 27. She's one of the 20. She's in the 27
Um,
club,
yeah.
so automatically she's cool. But no, but she's like I think of her like very like when she's talking, she's a little bit like a drawl, a little bit very chilled out. But he described it the way he described it was, I think, pretty impressive. And the
Mhm.
names, I think it was the name Deb. I think Deb.
Yeah,
I
Deb.
think one of
Yeah.
them was Deb, and then the other one
No,
also was a
he referred to Israel as Donna, like a girl who like has so much pain. He like referred to Israel as Donna, like
oh Israel's
Donna.
Don. Oh, that's no, that's Donna, but the cool aunt was Deb,
Right.
right?
But
And then he
that
had another.
that also like how he compared Israel to like the girl who has a lot of pain. Like sixth grade was really hard for her, and like everyone said like, wow, sixth grade was really hard. It's like you're taking this. I think it's a very impressive skill, and he does that all the time. I think
Right.
it's very impressive.
The metaphors, making the metaphor. Like I was just listening to a Seinfeld interview, and he actually said that on the show, they behind the scenes they would refer to him as like Mr. Metaphor, or one of them. I think Larry
It
Charles,
was
one of the writers.
that's the one with Barry Weiss. It was when
Yeah,
he was talking to Barry Weiss. Yeah,
right. And he said like he's Mr. Metaphor or something, or Metaphor Man, like his
something like that. Yeah,
superhero Metaphor Man.
yeah.
There is, I think metaphors are wonderful because it gives you a visual clarity about whatever you're describing, you know. And he does that well. He does. With the cool ant and the Donna thing, I agree with that. I agree. One of the things that I really, to me, which was interesting, I wonder what you're thinking about. How do you think about this? So he says, like, he has the whole thing with the cool ant, and he's going on a whole thing about it. But then he says the cool ant is there to give the kid options. And he's like, the kid is going through life and he sees, his parents who are, let's say, are, pretty even keel, conservative. They're raising their family, they do basic stuff, and he's exposed to their way of life. And then the cool aunt comes along and she's, showing him, portraying a different way of life if he so may choose. And what occurred to me is that when I was a kid, I did not do any such thing.
Hmm.
Is it commonplace? Like, how old do you have to be, or how old is it usually for people to start seeing the world instead of seeing just themselves within the world? I don't remember ever seeing someone saying, "Whoa," like even considering anything about them. I saw what I saw to look deeper and to say, that's an interesting way of life. I wonder if I lived by that way. Or, you know, it was just however it affected me. That's what I thought about. I didn't think about anything deeper. Do you have that experience? How do you see
Well,
it?
right. I would say that as a kid, you're mostly looking at like people that you like want to be like, but usually they're grand people who are like you're not necessarily closely associated, like rock stars or celebrities, or that's usually the people you're looking like. Oh, I want to be like them one day. But like the way he was saying it was like it's a little bit like from the parents' point of view, not necessarily like what the kid is like. The kid sees this as an option, but it almost like the parent understands that like you're not. Most of us are not going to be like these rock, top level famous people, rock stars. We're going to be living our lives, and you could be living your life in this stable sort of way, or you could be living your life in this unstable sort of way. And like the parent is what he says the job of the parents is to show the kid that like this is an option. You can be, smoking weed in your backyard listening to Fleetwood Mac. Like that's an option, whether or not the kid actually sees that as an option or not.
Really interesting. I mean, the parent, that's a little strange to me because I don't know if a parent, I think most parents, they're willing to expose their children to like one standard deviation away from themselves. You know, they are who they are, and there's somebody a little bit different than us, but it's acceptable for you to be exposed to and view them, but they're not taking them to, to Burning Man.
Hmm.
They're not exposing them to too much. So it's interesting, like the parent is unless, I mean, the parent, like, in their intention is to expose the child to the ant so that he could see different avenues in life. It's interesting.
But
I didn't see it that way.
would
I
you? I
get
mean, again, is it meaning is that your opinion that or is that your opinion or is that your observation that parents only portray to their kids like one standard deviation?
Right. I think it's an observation, but I believe it to be overall true. Meaning whatever the lifestyle is for a parent, they're going to show people with similar lifestyles or something a little bit different, but not what they consider totally different.
Mm.
Like for example, if let's say you're in a family that you're more of a left-leaning family, and you believe in basic leftist ideals. You're not going to take your kid to the church. You're not going to take your kid to go on a field trip to a shul or somewhere where they're going to be exposed to standards or lifestyles that are very different from what you believe. And the same thing on the right. Like if you're on the right, you'll take them to a shul, of course. Let's say you'll take them something a little bit more secular. Take them to a museum. Maybe even the modern history museum. Something a little bit more.
And you would call that as one standard.
Cultural. Yeah, it's like it's in the realm of similar, but you won't take them to an extreme place. You won't. I just think because it's too much, not to a young kid. I'm not talking about older people.
So I think let's say like Tim Dillon, but I think also like a lot of, let's say, open-minded like people who like specifically want to show their kids the diverse expressions of the world, I think would show their kid like all these different things and say like this is one thing, this is another thing. And it's true, it's not as stable, or like you're not necessarily portraying a certain ground level of understanding and culture. It's I mean, I assume that
At what so that's the question. At what age? Meaning, at what age would more exposure be acceptable? Meaning, a kid needs to know, have some backing. He has to have some grounding. Now, I think parents who are curious and they themselves are looking to investigate and see and to experience. Okay, that's parents do what they want to do. At what age do parents say, I'm also bringing my child along?
I think I don't know. Like the way I understand it is that a kid and a parent like have a very special, strong bond and connection. And I think as long as there is, love and respect that is there, because are you saying that it shouldn't be done at an early age or a specific age because there's somehow a danger in that?
I think if most people have um, ideals of the world, the way they view the world and what's right and what's wrong for them, what they believe is correct and what's not correct. I think most people have that. It's very diverse. Many people have different beliefs of what's right or what's wrong. Based on that, I think parents they raise their children within that rubric, within that criteria. They'll expose them to what they believe is right, and they'll try to inhibit them from seeing things that they believe are wrong. But even parents who believe things are wrong may be curious and go and look for those experiences themselves as adults, but they're not going to expose their children to that. Like, let's just be very, very concrete, right? The example I gave before, I think, is a good one. Parents who are within a religious community or religious belief system will expose their children to the religious belief system. They'll expose their children to one standard deviation, to a secular belief system, but they won't expose their children to an anti-religious belief system because it's too far away. Now, the parents themselves may be curious. They may watch movies that portray anti-religious belief systems, and they're fine with that because they're curious. It's interesting. They want to learn about it, but they are not comfortable exposing their children to that because I think most parents believe they want their children to be moving within a certain ideology until they're old enough to make their own decisions.
I hear that. I think it's very interesting. It's an interesting outlook, meaning that you're not necessarily giving your kids options, or at least until a certain age. You're asking what age is that?
Right. Meaning, so my understanding of Dillon, we're dissecting Dillon now.
Yeah.
But Bob Dylan was dissected for many years. So so my understanding was that let's say, no, not your understanding was the parents were exposing them to Aunt Deb. So at what age, right? What age is that something that the
Right.
parents want to do?
Aunt Deb is always around. It's Aunt. It's your
Right.
mother's
So
aunt.
I think even Aunt Deb is only a standard deviation away from the parents. Aunt Deb is probably.
She has transgender kids.
Do the kids come, or
Well,
just Aunt Deb?
well, Aunt Deb is open to it, regardless.
No, but is she preaching it? But maybe Aunt Deb, depending on the family, meaning Aunt Deb has transgender kids, but I don't remember him saying that transgender the cousins are coming to visit. Now, maybe the cousins aren't coming to visit because the other family is too many standard deviations away from them.
Right.
And they're very careful about what they're exposed to.
Right, exactly. Okay, I wanted to make one more point, but we're a little bit out of time here. But overall, would you listen to another Tim Dillon episode?
I would listen. I would. I would listen to it. It was a little bit of a hard listen because it's a little too much satire for me. Like I like a little bit more authenticity. And even though he may be in his own way, to me he doesn't sound so authentic.
Right.
It sounds like a little too much Chris Farley, like a little too much over the top.
Yeah, he's an entertainer. A lot of his influences from Alex Jones, actually, like the Alex Jones way of entertainment. Like he's taken a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it could be very popular. A lot of people like it, and he is comedic, and listen, he has a good sense of humor, and he has a good, way of portraying things. But it's not so much my style. But listen, somebody throws a good episode my way, I'll check it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right, wonderful.
Thank you everyone for watching, and another episode of CYSTA in the books.
Terrific. Great job, man.
We have to get sponsors.
Right, how many episodes do we have to make before sponsors join?